All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you, dear friends and all lovers of freedom. I welcome you to Sunrise Daily News Analysis. My name is Mazi Victor. And of course, this is a wonderful program that has been designed to bring you the in-depth analysis of what is happening in the zoo contraption called Nigeria. And we are also here with a special assigned duty, which is to expose the lies of the zoo, because Nigeria is a country that was concocted and constructed by the evil British oligarchy to make sure they constructed everything on the lies and deception which they have been using to suppress the indigenous people. But we are here to make sure we expose their lies and to destroy everything that has to do with the evil they have brought here. And we are reaching you from Biafran land. Of course, we are also encouraging you to make sure you reach out to your people in Biafran land and in all nooks and crannies of the world to make sure that this message keep on permeating every depth, every corners of Biafran land. And also we are encouraging you, those of you in diaspora, to call your people back home to make sure they are listening to this program. And Biafrans and all of us of freedom, make sure you share this very program. We are on so many social media networks, and also we are on the internet. You can log on to our website, which is www.biafrantelevision.co, and also we are broadcasting concomitantly through our premier platform, which is Radio Biafra London. And also we are on Skype, we are on YouTube, we are on Periscope, we are on Twitter, or even on WhatsApp. So you can do good to share the program in all your shareable available spaces, and make sure you inform others. Call all the stakeholders, even the enemies of Biafra, those who don't want to hear any good news about us. Call them to come and be a partaker of this, because we are here to make sure you get the real check of what is on ground. My name is Mazi Victor Onyedo, and I have with me here in the studio
Mazi Ogbefaide Igiri.
Mazi Ogbefaide, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
All right, I welcome you once again to Sunrise Daily News Analysis.
Thank you very much.
Of course, Defense and all of us of freedom, we deeply apologize for the issues we've been having for some couple of weeks now, and it is as a result of having been positioned to be in the zoo, and we are facing a lot of network difficulties and other challenges we are facing, of which we have been soliciting for your support every step of the way to make sure we upgrade our system and change some of our gadgets, which is one of the primary reasons why our station is not stable. You can do this, you can do the best you can by lending your support and being a part of this. And remember, I always tell you time without number that even if you are not part of a problem, you can be part of the solution. Biafra is for all of us, and anything you can do, just like our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would say, that anything you can do to make sure Biafra becomes a reality, you do it. IPB must not do everything, and the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must not do everything. All of us can be a part of it. We can do it. Over there, anywhere you are, you can be a part of this very movement. You can lend your hands to support the noble struggle, because we are fighting to liberate ourselves from the Fulani oligarchy, from the British created concoction called Nigeria. You know, that name Nigeria is synonymous to death. You know, once you bear that name Nigeria, you are likely to die. People die every day. Look at the way they are killing Shiite members. Look at the way Boko Haram is bombing everywhere, and people are dying, and there is no single respect for human rights and dignity. These are the things we don't want for our generation. We don't want to be the same people with a cow, because you know Fulani are a kind of they are a distant relative to cow. They make love to their cows, they sleep with their cows, and they do everything with their cows. The life of a human being in Nigeria is worthless than that of a cow. A cow is more worth than a life of a human being. That is why we don't want to belong here, because we are not cow, we are Biafrans, and that is why we are fighting for our freedom. Once again, I welcome you to Sunrise Daily News Analysis. And of course, without wasting much of your time, you know, the last time we came here, the network couldn't allow us to go ahead because we have a lot of issues we would have loved to treat, and I would still like us to go back and revisit those very issues that we have back then, and see if we can be able to touch some of them, the the better we can, and also look at some of the current one that is coming up, because every day in this contraption called Nigeria, things keep happening. People keep dying, a lot of evil keep happening. And the worst part of it is that those people you call leaders, but in the right and actual sense of it, they are misleaders. What they come out to tell you is lies. And the Yoruba medias are also helping them to do so, because they churn out lies, because they are brown envelope media, and what they are specialized in is to tell you lies upon lies. You can remember when Osibanjo went to America to go and tell them that there was no kidnapping and there was no killing of any sort, and we had been able to prove him a liar. And with what is happening, of which we are going to look at some of them here today, to also buttress the point that we are making earlier, and the assertion we have made that Nigeria is a zoo, is an animal kingdom. Nigeria is built upon lies, and it only takes the truth to destroy, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said that he will destroy the zoo with the truth. And the IPOB, the entirety of IPOB, we all are joining our voices together to destroy the zoo with the truth, because this is the truth that everyone else out there is afraid of saying. But we are here to say the truth, come what may. The worst that could have happened has already happened, so we don't have anything to fear, we don't have anything to lose. I encourage you Biafrans out there to make sure you do the best you can, continue to propagate this message in your locality and everywhere you are, and make sure that we destroy the zoo collectively, and by the grace of Chukwuka Abiyama, Biafra will be restored. Alright, let me go straight ahead to the headlines we have that we have not been able to treat. We have this one. Finally, President Buhari endorses restructuring. I can imagine that. And also we have number 2, protest. Shiites becoming insurgent like Boko Haram, says House of Rep. They seek more security. Number 3 is El-Rufai statement. He said that 2-country lies in Nigeria. Then number 4 is about terrorism. Nigerians banned from entering USA with or without a valid visa, along with 7 Muslim countries. We also have South African denies Nigeria visa-free status, but grants Ghana their counterpart. And also we have a statement that was made by our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He said that action is better than words of fury. I think I'm gonna have to start with this very one. This action is better than fury, the words of Hamadike himself, because something prompted that statement. So before we go ahead, I would like to read the details, then we start analyzing from there. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere. Action is better than words of fury by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. The brazen terror attack on Yoruba soil by Fulani terrorists yesterday must not go unanswered. Let the mother of the daughter of Afenifere chairman Funke Fasoranti Olakunrin by Fulani terrorists be another sombere but timely reminder to the great Yoruba race and their media in particular that supporting evil has its unintended consequences. I hate to say it, but this sad incident goes to underscore the prediction I made long ago that this government of Nigeria, as constituted from 2015, is a murderous Fulani Wahhabi cabal on a jihadi mission to terrorize, subjugate, and enslave everybody. Unfortunate enough to be part of the British colonial experiment gone mad called Nigeria. I specifically warn the Yoruba race and their dominant media that supporting Fulani atrocities against Biafra and suppression of the truth about the true identity of Jibril Aminu al-Sudani because of Tinubu's 2023's presidential ambition will not only be counterproductive but will also turn around to consume them. They call me a merchant of hate speech. Today, I ask them, what is happening? It is unfortunate that at a time of great peril like this, weak men, handpicked by the same Fulani caliphate that are persecuting everybody today, are the ones in charge of the leadership of the South. Fulani terror will not only stop when we confront them. with an equal force. Mere words will not do it. An immoral and spineless Yoruba media should shoulder the blame for the death of this prominent Yoruba daughter and the wider rampaging savagery of Fulani herdsmen across Nigeria. They failed to objectively report the truth, but instead chose to malign and attack IPOB that saw the danger the country was sliding into way ahead of everybody. The time for the mother of all popular resistance is now, not tomorrow. Only an IPOB-led mass revolution will save the day, because we are the only ones with a history of resistance against the Vandals from the Sahel. The sooner the youths of the Middle Belt and Southwest rise up to join IPOB to dismantle the zoo and chart a new course for the respective ethnic nationalities that make up Nigeria, the better our chances of survival, or else we are all doomed. Press statements and lamentations will not stop the invaders. Only concrete mass action can, and we are ever ready. This is the words of Ohamadike Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. All right, Mazi Oge Friday, I welcome you once again.
Thank you very much.
Of course, from the statement our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has made so far, which is titled "Action is better than fury." I mean, what would you make of that from your own personal perspective?
Fellow Biafrans, I welcome you once again to today's edition of the program, Sunrise Daily Paper Review. It is my pleasure. And leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, without wasting much of time, he is a man that understands what is to come. From the time he started this struggle to restore Biafra as a sovereign state in West Africa, he knew really that we are fighting a great battle, and the people we are fighting, they are very, very much determined in whatever thing that they want to do. Our leader from the beginning understand clearly the handwriting on the wall, that we are fighting terrorists, that we are fighting jihad. And you cannot succeed in this battle by mere words. You cannot succeed fighting terrorists and people who are determined in their own ideology to conquer and overtake with arms by mere press statements and paper publications and what have you. And that was why our leader has been very much optimistic on the fact that we must face what is facing us by all means. From 2015, even before then, our leader has been saying it. Sometimes people will ask him, but you were demanding for arms, to face your enemies. And he said yes, because the people we are fighting for, they do not understand the language of peace. The Hausa Fulanis, we have tried to play the game of peace for a very long time. We have tried all we can to see if we can live in harmony with these people, but to no avail. We have tried everything as we can as a people to see if we can stay as one people, harmony, but to no avail. So there is nothing we can do now than to take the horn by the bull. And what has been happening in the contraption called Nigeria for a very long time now justify what our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been saying, that Nigeria is a contraption. Not only that, that it is about to be taken over completely by the jihad. And you see what is happening in the contraption called Nigeria. The Fulani herdsmen are terrorizing everywhere.
All right, sir.
Boko Haram are also on their own.
All right, Mazi, thank you very much. Let me just come in a bit. You know, from the statement and assertion our leader has made so far, I mean, what do you think the role the Yoruba media has been playing in making sure they compound this very issue? What do you think is the role or negative or positive role they've been able to play, and what do you think they could have done at this particular point in time to alleviate the situation or to give the people the right education and place them on the right mindset to start the revolution?
You see, media has been a very strong tool that the enemies use to fight each other. From all that our leader has been preaching, trying to bring to the knowledge of the entire people living in the contraption called Nigeria, and to the entire people of Africa and black race. The Yoruba media, because of their advancement and the level of advantage they have in the media, they have been trying everything possible to use that tool against the quest to restore Biafra, forgetting that it is not only Igbo affair. That what our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was talking about, or still talking about, is what will interest and benefit the entire black race and humanity. So they took it upon themselves to use their media to to spoil whatever thing that our leader has been preaching.
Okay,
to castigate what our leader has been preaching.
Let me come in
this
here.
time around.
Let me come in here. I will come back to that later. I mean, this very issue and this very statement is directed toward the Yoruba people entirely, because they are the ones who is being affected by this murder of the leader, the daughter of the leader of Afenifere chairman, named Funke Fasoranti Olakunrin, by Fulani terrorists. Now, with what has just happened and what have been happening prior to this time, do you think it is enough provocation for the Yoruba people to rise up at once and to resist this jihad that is coming? Or what do you think the Yoruba race are likely to do this time around, that it is coming directly to their doorstep?
You see, when I went to that report on the internet, after reading the statement from the Afenifere as a group, I read the statement below. I also read some references in the past on what the Fulani herdsmen has done to them, and this recent attack that led to the death of the mother of the Afenifere, chairman. I just asked a simple question: how are you going to do this? Because even on the press release, they made it known to the entire world that they are no longer going to take this, that they will take action. But on making the statement that you are going to take action, how are you going to do it? Of course, what happened to them, because it is not just an easy task. They purposely did it to see or to know what they can do. Been saying this time without number that the Yoruba nation, if they didn't take precaution, the Oduduwas, they are going to suffer a lot. They did it just to find out what will be their reaction if they are going to digest it just like that. They will now unleash the package they have for them. So it is enough reason for them to stand up and take action. Not only that, to join hand with the leader of IPOB and see that Nigeria as a nation is a contraption and it cannot work. It is high time this marriage is dissoluted. One need to go on its own separate ways, because the center can no longer hold. That day the woman was traveling to Lagos, it was not only her that traveled through that road. according to the report, they were in the bush monitoring her movement. Immediately she came, they started attacking her. So they knew what they were doing. They knew the target they set. But some gullible Yorubas, they will feel Tinubu is there, we have this person, we have the other person, Fashola is there, so nothing will happen. But that is broken. In the end of the whole thing, you have to suffer it. If you didn't do anything now, you will live to suffer it forever. So what happened to them is enough reason for them to stand up, wake up from their slumber, and their media, which the zoo, the Nigerian government usually and normally use to castigate whatever thing that IPOB led by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is doing, should know that it is not all about writing. That what our leader said is exactly when it will come. They don't care what you write in your newspapers, what you say in your TV and radio stations in support of them, but they will still do what? Attack you. What happened now and what happened before is a clear evidence. And the elite there, the Oni of Ife and Professor Wole Soyinka, having, these are your elders and your elites, they have overseen all these things. That was why they warned, previously, that you should rise up and do what? And defend your ancestral home, as though they already knew this thing will happen. It was not long Wole Soyinka said this and Oni of Ife, and this attack took place. It is just a direct challenge. Come and do that which you said you will do. We are ready for you. And if they just end up on a press statement, worst is coming.
All right, thank you very much, Mazi Ogefride, for that wonderful contribution. Of course, dear fans and lovers of freedom, this is Sunrise Daily News Analysis, and my name is Mazi Victor Onyedo. Of course, you can do good to share our program in all the social media where you have access to, and make sure you invite everyone, even the Yoruba, the Middle Belters, and all the people who are truly demanding for retributive consequences of what the Fulani people are doing to them. This is the time for you to remind them so that they can be educated on what they should be doing at this particular point in time, because we have gotten to a saturation point where we don't have any other choice than for us to strategize and do what is best for us to do what we must do in order to save our generation. All right, Mazi Ogefride, when you look at the fourth paragraph of this very statement from our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he said that I specifically warned the Yoruba race and their dominant media that supporting Fulani atrocities against Biafra and suppression of the truth about the true identity of Jubril Aminu al-Sudani because of Tinubu's 2023 presidential ambition will not only be counterproductive, but will turn around to consume them. They called me a merchant of hate. Today I asked them what is happening. So now from this very statement, it contains a lot of things.
Yes.
It's just like a two-edged sword. Because if you watch what has been happening in Yoruba land, we have come here severally to analyze about the killings in Ondo State and even in Ogun State, which is the hometown of former president of the zoo called Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo,
yes.
And even Tinubu town where he is coming from and other places, there have been reported killings. But never for once have we seen Tinubu come out maybe in the social media or on the newspaper or on television to condemn the attacks or the killings by the House of Fulani. He seemed to be dumb. He's not talking anything, and we are looking at it based on the assertion our leader made here. So Tinubu is nursing a very strong ambition for 2023 presidential race. So could it be the reason why he is not saying anything? And the Yoruba entirely who are looking up to him, are they likely not to do anything because of protection of the interests of Tinubu? Because they believe that in 2023, just like the way they promised them some time ago that Tinubu is going to be the next president of the zoo called Nigeria. So because of that, do you think the Yoruba race can do anything at this very particular point in time, or are they going to play to the gallery or, you know, sound politically correct just to shield their brother whose ambition is to become the president.
Anyway, our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, from this statement, not only from this one but previously, it goes a long way to convince some gullible, those who do not believe it, that he is a prophet, to believe that he is a prophet. You know, there is nothing he said that never come to pass. And that was exactly what he tried to remind the Yoruba race, that look at this, because of the role you have been playing all this while in supporting the zoo called Nigeria, promoting them, on the other hand castigating the Biafran people, and what IPOB is doing, using your media, that one day you will do what? You will see more, you will see worse than Biafran people are seeing today. It will look as if it is not going to happen. They call him names and all of that, but today the question is, what is happening? All these things are beginning to do what? To unfold. You just check it. Those things that our leader say it will happen, because he made it known to us that whenever he is on Radio Biafra, he is no longer speaking, but Chukwuka Abiyama is speaking through him. He is a prophet of our time. So the Yoruba race, the choice is theirs to stand up and defend their land, like their, you know, son have said, and their traditional leader as well. If they like, they should keep quiet. When it comes, they will all be consumed. So our leader have said this, and it is their choice either to stand up or not. If they knew that the interest of one or two persons will, you know, suppress them, such as that of Tinubu and others, it is none of our business. Biafra is going, and there is no two ways about it. Tinubu, Obasanjo, and the rest of them, and some other elites in the Yoruba kingdom, or perhaps the Oduduwa nation, they are all politicians, just like those we have in Biafra land here. Some of these governors, the Ohaneze Ndigbo and some other groups here, you know, these are the people who are working hard to make sure they put food on their table. They can do anything irrespective of what the people are, you know, are feeling. It doesn't matter the hardship that the people are being subjected in. It doesn't matter if they wake up one day and 100,000 persons are being killed. It doesn't matter if 1 million are killed. All they know is that they need that money. These are the people who are working hard, you know, after their belly, to gratify their personal and, you know, selfish interest. So we have them everywhere. We have them in Biafra land. We also have them in Yoruba land. There are some individuals whom we think that they will stand up for the right of the common man, whom we think that they will advocate the interest, they will, you know, stand to do what, as a midwife between the federal government and their people. But these are the men that derive pleasure in the sufferings of the people, because they have a way of their own settlement with the federal government. As the woman died, there are people who are going to collect compensation or damages, not to give it to the family, but to put it in their own pocket. And these are the kind of people that the masses will sometimes be looking at and say, anyhow now, let's be doing it. Our son is a minister, you know, somebody from our region is this and that. It is no longer the interest of what? The majority, rather the interest of the few, which is very, very unfortunate. So the Yoruba nation or the Oduduwas, the choice is 100% theirs. If they want, let them fold their hands. But Biafra, we are fighting for the interest of the entire black race. We are fighting for the entire interest, or for the interest of the entire Africa. Like you know, one famous writer in Africa, in Biafra, Africa died, he wrote. So as we grow, as we rise up, I believe that so many nations of the African continent and black race will also rise. But if Yorubas or if the Oduduwas like, let them fold their hands, the choice is theirs. So I advise them not to totally give up, but to stand up and do the needful. Right the wrong. Use what they have in a rightful way. My joy is that some of them are beginning to identify with IPOB. I saw a video online where the Sahara Reporters boss, met our Ramazan Amdekano in the United States of America. And from the statement, he said, from now henceforth, we will start doing what, rubbing mind together, cooperating, see what we can do to deliver our people. Then know that we have problem, but because of the little peanut that they get from the Nigerian government and the threat that if you support what these people are doing, we will draw your license, we will sanction you, we will do this, we will do that, they will all keep quiet and go back to their share.
All right, thank you very much, Mazi Oge Friday, for that wonderful contribution. Of course, the fans and all of us of freedom, this is Sunrise Daily News Analysis. My name is still Mazi Victor Onyedo, and of course, I enjoin you to do the best you can to make sure you share this very program, to reach out to almost some crannies of the world and the entire Biafran land, and make sure that our people are listening and watching this program in any way they can in order to make their own contribution, because in some couple of minutes we are going to open our line if the network will allow us, and we will get your own contribution and your reaction based on what we are treating here. I enjoin you to keep on keeping on, because we have come out to restore Biafra and no going back. It is either Biafra or death. Of course, we have other topical issues we are looking into. We're also looking at this very headline: finally Buhari endorses restructuring. All right, let me just, I wouldn't have to read all of them, but let me just read some paragraph from it, then we'll analyze from there. President Muhammadu Buhari has endorsed the report on restructuring Nigeria presented to him by the Governor Nasir El-Rufai led All Progressive Congress APC committee. President Muhammadu Buhari, a former governor of Ogun State, Aremu Olusegun Osoba, disclosed to this statesmen and other activists agitating for restructuring of the country to be patient with the president and the APC, saying the steps would be taken to get the National Assembly to start work on legalizing the relevant aspect of the report. Chief Osoba, who is also a veteran and one-time managing director of Daily Times, said he was at the State House to present his book titled Battle Line: Adventure in Journalism and Politics to Buhari, who featured in it prominently. He said that the ruling APC even had restructuring as a devolution of power from the federal government to states, enshrined in its manifesto. According to him, I am part of the presidency because the president is our president. I can tell you all this noise about restructuring. We APC put devolution of power through federalism in our manifesto, and we have moved far from there to where a committee was set up, headed by the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai. that committee has submitted its report. That report has been presented to us in the caucus, and the president was there. The president endorsed the outcome. I want Nigerian to please give us time. I hope and pray that that at the right time, the government or the party will send a report to the National Assembly for debate. Let me even stop from here. I'm Mazi Oge Friday. The statement is very, very long, but I just choose to call it here.
Right, yes,
I believe you must have gotten the check in here.
Yes.
This very restructuring issue, as in, I don't know the nitty-gritty of why they have to bring it this time. If truly it exists in their manifesto, then why is it that they couldn't just endorse the 2014 confab, which has already handled this very issue of restructuring? So, I mean, do you think this has any good thing to offer to the indigenous people?
Anyway, this is just a statement made by somebody who feel that he's a party member, and he went to the State House to see Buhari, perhaps Jubre al-Sudani, who is wearing the shoe of late Buhari, because he feel he have a close contact, with the president, and he's looking for a favor. This man, remember, he just wrote a book according to the report, and he went to present it to Buhari. So on reaching there, he had to talk one or two things with the man in Asorok, and on a closed door meeting, you understand. So yes. Nobody even heard from the side of Buhari. So after a closed door meeting, the man just came out, because they knew, the press, they are in the gate, waiting. Anybody that go in there and come out, they really know that he has gone to meet with the Mr. President. As usual, now the press will always come out. Hello, please don't be disturbed. Good morning. My name is this. You met Buhari. What did you discuss with him?
Okay. That's it, Friday. So let me come in here. Okay. I mean, from the assertion you are trying to make here, are you trying to, by any chance, insinuate that something like that might
Buhari never endorsed any restructuring. Simple. You understand? So now let me just put it there. From all these things that has been said, this man is not occupying even a single position in this current government. Do you understand? The man, maybe he just retired as a Daily Time newspaper, and the money he made there wasn't really enough for him to keep bringing food in the table of his family.
So in other words, you're trying to say that he is he know that Nigerians, or the people that is inhabiting that very zoo contraption, in that zoological contraption called Nigeria, they are expecting to hear something like this.
There's something I want to try to understand. Let me just bring it. You understand?
Okay.
Because okay, come to, or can you send somebody, to come for my book launch? Anyhow, Mr. President, you featured much on this book. Can you come? And after all those things they discussed, behind closed door, no media was allowed to go in there to have a record or even witness of what they discussed. Nobody really knew what happened, and the man just came out to tell the people that Buhari has endorsed restructuring. How did he endorse restructuring? Okay, because there are so many people that they want to hear this. They just want to hear this, and
are you saying in that sense? Hold on, Mazi Ogofade. Are you saying in that sense that the man is trying to tell the people, I mean the indigenous people of the zoo called Nigeria, he is trying to tell them what they like to hear and not necessarily telling them the truth? Because you know, it's like a two-way kind of a thing here. There's something, I mean, there's a situation where somebody would like you to tell him or her something they would like to hear, or rather the person choose the bitter truth. You know,
that is exactly what I've been trying to, you know, make known to our people here. Like some of these Igbos, because this man has gone to the state house, it is just like what and lodge in one hotel and come back and tell you, oh, that's it. Do you understand? And that is exactly what happened here. This man, he just went to the state house. Nobody knew what he discussed with Buhari, and he just came out because there is something that the people are agitating to hear, and they will be quick to tell you, my friend, forget about Biafra, forget about the agitation. Did you not hear that Buhari has endorsed restructuring? If the restructuring, you know, took place, it will be better for all of us. Forget about restructuring. But even in the main sense, if the government, which in no way they are not even talking about it, the confab, you know, of 2014 that was organized with much money invested, you know, they have swept it under the carpet. You know, the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, he spoke directly, you know, during a book launch in Lagos. After some days, that statement was made in the media. You understand that he is urging, he is pleading with this administration who say, let us restructure. Because even you restructure yourself, right, with this state of Nigeria, or with this, you know, condition of the contraction called Nigeria, even if you restructure the zoo called Nigeria, it is even going to be worse to what we have now. Do you understand? So even if they have it as a mandate, or if they come up tomorrow to say, we want to restructure, do you understand? There are still a lot of things to do there. Is it going to benefit us more? No. What we need is what? Biafra. And that is the only thing that is going to solve the problem of this contraption. You understand? So not even restructuring. If the federal government or perhaps the zoo, I mean Buhari-led administration will even come up tomorrow and tell you, okay, we want to restructure. But this time around, from the assertion of this man, it was a closed-door meeting with the president or the man who is in the Aso Rock. So to me, I said it is not even true. The man was just trying to say what the people will hear, not what.
Okay, thank you very much, Mazi Ogofade, for that wonderful contribution. And finally, on that very topic, when you look at what restructuring is all about, if you explain it in deep, if you explain the deep meaning of it, it's just a devolution of power. You know, allowing every region to manage their resources and to also kind of govern themselves in a way where they are still under the same enclave called the zoo Nigeria. It's just like you know, a kind of devolving power from the center and empowering the regions or the states, however. Okay. But do you think that would have really solved the problem of, because we have a very serious problem, and everybody in the zoo and every other person around the world, they understand what the problem is. Now we are fighting for survival. Do you think that if at all they would, you know, endorse this restructuring mantra they have been using to campaign and to use it to garner the support from people, do you think that devolution of power would in any way, you know, ameliorate the situation that people are passing through now from the Fulani herdsmen and from the jihadi terrorists? Do you think devolution of power could impact in the life of people positively or negatively?
No, there's something I want our people to understand. Let us pay a critical attention to this. Do you understand? You know, people are in a layman understanding. Let us just look at what this restructuring is all about. If you didn't call it restructuring, you will call it what? Rebuild. Let us start afresh. Let us amend. And on this, Because we want to make this very, very, easy for our people to avoid being misled. People are using this restructuring, to weigh you, to confuse you. All you want is restructuring, forget about the agitation. If we restructure, everything is okay. Okay, that is restructuring. What the way they would like to restructure their country is not the way that I want to restructure my own my own. For instance, I build a house. I put 3 windows and 2 doors in the house because of the economic challenges I may be facing when I build the house. But after some time, I will say, oh, no. Let me restructure this house. Let me rebuild the house. It is now left for me to determine how am I going to do it. Am I going to remove the old and the archaic zinc I used in roofing the house and use aluminium to roof it? Or am I going for Cameroon zinc? Or am I going for any type of zinc? Okay, coming to the window and the doors now. Am I going to make it 5 doors instead of 2? Am I going to increase it to 8 windows instead of 3? On doing that, am I still going to use wood doors and windows, or am I going to use iron windows, or am I going to use glass? These are the things you begin to look at. They have been singing restructuring all this, but they really want to come up and tell the people, how are we going to do this? The National Confab looked into all of those things of 2014. Do you understand? But they have decided to keep it within themselves because they know that it is something that is not going to, make any meaning. It's not going to hold any water. The masses has not even been, brought to the notice that this is what we want to do if we succeed. They just selected some people, lodged them in a hotel, paid them money. They went there to speak English. In the end of the whole thing, everybody go on their separate ways. It was abandoned. In the end of the whole thing, they will just carry the whole paper and burn it down. So if we are going to restructure, how are you going to do it? Are you going to give autonomy to the 6 geopolitical zones as quoted in the entire country, zoo called Nigeria, or are you going to give autonomy to the 3 major ethnicity groups, the North, the South, and the West? What are you going to do? Or is it just going to be on changing of the constitution? What exactly do you intend to do? That you've been thinking of restructure. So many people can restructure as they want to. If we say, okay, we want to give the highest autonomy to the local government, good and fine. If we want to give the highest autonomy to maybe, do you even know that what they want to say is, okay, we want to restructure in the fact that it is only maybe it's going to be a government by the elders. Or we are going to change from democracy or presidential to autocracy, or we are still going to change from this democracy or presidential government to democratic, to military regime or military rule. What exactly do they have? And even on that, the state of this contraption now is not all about restructuring. The highest restructuring you will do is total dissolution of this union, because even before the British came, they already know the kind of government that will run. These 3 government has been in existence. The people of Oduduwa has been on their own doing their things. Then the people of the Arewas, they have been there doing their own normal things, and the Biafran people, do you understand? The Igbos, they have been there doing their own normal things. But when the British came, they feel that it is good for them to combine every place, all these 3 people, and say, stay as one, without even the due, consent of the people. So now you said you want to restructure. The hardest thing that you want to restructure is what? To do what? To do this thing. I remember that 2014 confab, they say that one of the things that they were saying was there will not be no-go area. They know that even if you have to implement the national confab, which is not totally going to solve the problem, that there will be a very big problem. So if they want to say, let us restructure, let them go back to that national conference and see what they can do there, which automatically is not even going to be the solution to the problem of our people. So let our people remove their mind from anything restructuring 2014 national confab. It was done for the benefit of some few individuals. So all that we need now is the total restoration of what? The sovereign state of Biafra. Simple.
All right, thank you very much, Mazi Oge Friday, for that wonderful contribution. Of course, Biafrans and all lovers of freedom, this is Sunrise Daily News Analysis, and my name is Mazi Victor Onyedo. And of course, I have Mazi Oge Friday with me here in the studio, who's been doing justice to the issues we have here. Of course, before we go on a short break, I would like us to also look at this very short article. It's just a statement that was made recently by El-Rufai, the same governor of Kaduna State, who this other man pointed out that he endorsed this very restructuring issue. So look at the statement he made. He said that two countries lie in Nigeria. Now, El-Rufai said two countries presently inhabit the womb of Nigeria, and while the northern Nigeria ranks the same as war-torn Afghanistan, southern Nigeria is developing. This is where I would have to stop. Now, based on this very statement, I mean, what would you make out of it? Because this is the same man that earlier on was quoted as endorsing the document for restructuring, and now he is making this very statement that two countries lies in the womb of Nigeria. So, can you name these very two countries according to him?
This man, El-Rufai, you know, he's 50% right. But, you know, he made a little mistake. It should have been 3 countries or even 6 countries in Nigeria. But you remember, if you read down deep into that his statement, you will discover that that statement was focused on mockery. Do you understand? Because it was during the Biafran people, or perhaps the other country.
No, that's not what he said. He said that the people in the north are deteriorating, just like the war-torn Afghanistan, which is a country that was terrorized by terrorists.
I understand what
and whereas the people in the south, which include the Biafrans and other people of that very ethnicity, they are developing. That's the statement he made.
Yes, I read that news in detail. And when the media quoted him verbatim, he said all those things. Coming to the down of, he said that while all these things were happening, while we are, you know, underdeveloped, while we are suffering, is because we, the northerners, are using our resources to develop the southerners. Do you understand? There was in every paper, there are people who quote as they want to quote their own, because these are different individuals representing different media platforms. You know,
of course,
there was this one about 3 different media report I read. You know, 2 countries in Nigeria, northerners feeding the southerners. Do you understand? So, and when I read down to the end of it, that was exactly what he was saying. That it was the northerners that are feeding the northerners. I begin to ask, how, with what have you been feeding the southerners? Is it from the cow?
Okay, can we look at it at a holistic angle? Okay, let's presume that he is right in this very statement that the northerners are feeding the rest of other people. But don't you think it's going to be a welcome development if we use this very opportunity that he is saying this very thing to, you know, ensure that the north stop feeding the southeasterners, so that they too can have their own country to rebuild?
You see, what I'm saying is that from the statement made by El-Rufai, he is 100% incorrect. I mean, he's 100%, wrong.
Okay.
The Northerners are not feeding us. Rather, vice versa. We are the people feeding them.
And why do you say so?
There was a question I asked before. You know, he said this, that the Northerners, 2 countries in Nigeria, the Northerners feeding the Southerners. He even excluded the Yorubas. That is to tell you that their own situation may likely be the worst to what our leader have said. Because he would have, if he wanted to balance the equation, he would have said, you know, 3 countries in Nigeria, 1 feeding 2. But this is why he totally, excluded the Yorubas. Let us not just talk about it now, but let us focus on his own statement and know how we go.
Okay, but don't you think that the very statement he made regarding the 2 countries that lies in Nigeria, don't you think he's somehow right in that very perspective?
He's not right. He's not right. Because how are they feeding?
I'm not talking about the feeding now. Can we talk about the feeding later? He's talking about 2 countries lying in Nigeria.
Yes,
and which is not supposed to be, because Nigeria is a British concocted contraption, you know. So now 2 countries, as as he would put it, you know, I'm just trying to, you know, justify from his own statement.
Yes,
yes. In the literal aspect of it, there might be 10 or 20 countries lying, because Nigeria is a very big group of countries that was merged together, because you know, it is even disenfranchising to those people of the other national ethnic minorities, people you call minorities. They are there in their millions, and you call them minorities, and you exclude them from the 3 major tribes. I think we are not being fair to those people. Yes. Now, let's say that we have up to 20 countries that is lying in Nigeria, but that you think that the British came and brought everybody to become one. Now, the Northerners now, through the mouthpiece, who is El-Rufai, saying that 2 countries, I mean, that's what he believed. So if we can go by that, don't you think that something is wrong for people to force 2 countries, as he would put it, together? Because you don't expect him to speak for everybody. He just speaking for himself, and also speaking for those who care to listen, that 2 countries lying in Nigeria, and the countries he recognizes is the Biafrans, which are the people that inhabit the south, according to him, then the Northerners. So don't you think he is somehow right in that very aspect? As in, let us start from there.
Yes, from that his assertion, he is very, very right. Do you understand? Everybody knows that there is no 2 ways about it. It's a clear knowledge. You know, Biafra has been there for many years before the coming of the British, and even after that, Biafra has been in existence until 1967, when the official, exit or secession of Biafra took place, and we stayed as a country of our own for almost 3 years. Do you understand? So he is very right on that side. Though the Yorubas, they join hand with the North to stay as Nigeria. So if that is from the angle he's coming, because these were the only 2 countries that existed in Nigeria. Do you understand? Nigeria and Biafra. So then Yoruba did not participate. Of course,
you are right in this very assertion you made, because Biafra existed as a country for 3 years, governing themselves all over the world, and they're having their own currency.
Yes.
And the Yorubas and what are they called? Other minorities. They all join hand with the Hausa, and the Yoruba to join hand with the Hausa. So he's right in the very assertion.
That is exactly the point I'm trying to make, that if that is the angle he's coming from, he's 100% right. But they are not feeding us, rather we are feeding them.
Okay. And coming back to the feeding,
of course, because there are people who might have read this his statement, because it was published. Almost all the newspapers in Nigeria carried it, and if you read the bottom of it, the end of it, these were the point of his argument.
All right, so hold on a bit. Now that you want us to talk about the feeding area now, we begin to look at things that is obtainable. You know that the Biafrans, or the people inhabiting this very side, I don't want to talk about the Yorubas and the rest of them. Let me say that the Biafrans, they are the highest. You know, we have been trying for some couple of months or years now to discourage our people from consuming cow meat because of the danger associated with it. But when we look at it now, the 90% of cow consumption that is taking place in the southeast region, which is Biafran land and the rest of other places, are being supplied by the Fulanis, which is the Northerners and the Hausas. Then when you look at some other things they claim they are supplying us, don't you think they are somehow right in that? Because our people, yes, we have those things, we can produce those things in abundance, we produce palm oil in abundance and all of that, but now they seem to have taken over, and the people we call leaders in our geopolitical zone, they have not done anything about empowering the people. When you look at what is happening in the north, Jubril or Buhari, when he started, he gave billions of dollars to the people over there through federal government grants and all that thing to ensure he empowered the farmers to produce food in abundance. And okay, only the Northerners are producing almost 80 tons of rice in every quarter of the year. And at the end of the day, how many tons does the Biafrans produce at the end of the day? So when you look at it now, don't you think he's still somehow right in making that very statement that they are feeding us?
Let me not,
even though we are buying those food with our money.
Let me not be quick to agree with you on this point.
Okay.
We have, if we talk about livestock, we have our own domestic livestock, the best in the entire Africa. Though the government and the people that work or represent us have not given us that, opportunity to explore as a people on some areas. But if you look at it from this angle, do you understand? The poverty rate in the north is at 70%. Then in the west, about 50 to 60%. But here in Biafra land, it is at 10 to 15%. You see the wide gap there. So now if you talk about cash crop, our land is the most fertile in the whole wide world, not just in Africa. We have all varieties of tubers of yam. We produce gari in the highest, in a larger quantity that Africans cannot consume. Do you understand? So anybody who is telling you all of this, is it when they go and import rice, come here and bag it, they will tell you that the North are producing rice and all of us will believe it? That is not true. Where are those rice cultivated? Let them take us to the farm where they cultivated that rice. So when they go to the neighboring countries and import rice, come here to bag it, tag it, anything they want to tag it, they will tell us that they are producing rice in a larger quantity. Is it more than what? Do you know that in Ebonyi State there is no out of season in cultivation of rice? If you go to Ikwo, both in dry season, there are people in Ikwo that they don't cultivate rice in this rainy season because it is not fertile. But in a dry season, it is natural. It is a dry season that
are they producing it in and feed the Biafrans?
More than 100 years. I mean, they have enough rice, the best rice in the whole of Africa. Do you understand?
But it is not in a commercial quantity.
What are you telling me? Let us go to Abakaliki. You see what I'm telling you. Abakaliki rice is everywhere. We have rice. We have Abakaliki rice everywhere. The best rice I've ever seen. Not all this thing that this magic that they're doing to us. If they go there to import rice, they will come and bag it, name it anything. They will tell us all of this is just to captivate the mind of our people, believing that the North are feeding us, which is nothing. We have our goat that we can consume as a people. We have our chicken. The people in the whole wide world where you can do with livestock, domestic livestock. I remember then when I was a kid, I didn't have more than 20 chicken on my own. 20 as a kid. The same with every other person. Everyone believed that this happened. So hard time then. When did all these things came into our land? Donkey, cows and the rest of it. When did we start consuming it in a large number as a people? It just came off yesterday. Do you understand? So we have what we used to sustain our people before now. So in no way they would ever assume that they are feeding us. Rather, we are feeding them. Even we are to remove the issue of other natural resources. When we talk about food, we are still feeding them. If you want to make the experiment, go and bring any rice that will be coming from the other side, and even on that self, that which they claim that they are feeding us, or that which they claim that they are producing, it is not directly coming from the main northern states. We should know that. Some of those beans, rice, and some of those granite that they produce, all of these, they are not coming directly from the main northern state. Some of them are coming from this middle belt and what have you.
All right.
Each in agreement, they are all Biafrans.
All right, thank you very much, Mazi Oge Friday, for that wonderful analysis. Of course, Biafrans and all of us of freedom, this is Sunrise Daily News Analysis, and my name is Mazi Victor Onyedo, and I have Mazi Oge Friday with me here in the studio. Of course, we are going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll open up the phone lines for you to call in to make your own contribution based on the topics we have here and what we have discussed so far. We would like you to make your contribution, because your contribution is very, very important in educating our people. You tell us what you know, and you also give your own direction, what you think about what we are discussing here and other future perspective. Of course, stay tuned and don't go anywhere. Thank you.
Is the king. Stripone is about to go down. Can't nobody take what belongs to us.
DJ Risky, the real prince.
People of the land of the rising sun, can't nobody take away what belongs to us anymore, anymore. People of the land of the rising sun, can't nobody take away what belongs to us anymore. Biafra, we are down for you. For you to come alive, Biafra, we are down for you. For you to come alive. People of the land of the rising sun, can't nobody take away what belongs to us anymore, anymore. People of the land of the rising sun, can't nobody take away what belongs to us anymore. People of the land of the rising sun, can't nobody take away what belongs to us. I'm a Biafran, son of King of Kings. Tell me who's not, I show you saboteurs. Saboteurs every day, hitting us hard. Same old shit, lambs, I know them by their names. Don't really give a fuck about what they do on the shit they say. They low money more, so they sold the south. You know, divide the road, don't walk no more. Cause IPOB put us through. No guns, no bones, we don't play no games. Still go fight to the end of this earth, and we'll never go stop till we get our freedom. On Biafra we stand. To hell with them criminals, Nigeria, Britain, fucking gold diggers, all-time haters. Get off our land, we don't want you here. And if you catch head fellas, we don't really care. Get them thieves off our land. People of the land of the rising sun, can't nobody take away what belongs to us anymore, anymore. People of the land of the rising sun, can't nobody take away what belongs to us anymore. Biafra, we are down for you. For you to come alive, Biafra, we are down for you to come. First and first with indigenous people, owners of the land, you don't put in here. Therefore first I put it out there. No, you don't come through when I come through. Look around you, who do you see? Children of the most high God in here. BBC, fake news everywhere. Genocidal, subjugate, keep blowing your lies. Relegate Biafrans to the background. Long live the queen, long live in hell. You kill 6 million, you claim it's wrong. Biafra genocide is Biafra Holocaust. Biafra blood wets on your conscience. Lied about the war, you lied about the kills. 18-year-old was all top stolen. Loyalty should have killed also when you had the chance. Now we are here to speak and tell the truth. Desert dwellers, Suicidal pressures, Fulani henchmen, go back to where you came from. We don't want ya, Biafra, we here and we still go live in the land of the rising sun. Biafra, prepare some parasites, leave us the fuck alone. People of the land of the rising sun, can't nobody take away what belongs to us anymore, anymore. People of the land of the rising sun, can't nobody take away what belongs to us anymore. Biafra, we are down for you to come alive. Biafra, we are down for you to come alive. People of
Alright, welcome back, the fans and all lovers of freedom. This is Sarah Daily News Analysis. I welcome you once again. My name is still Mazi Victor Onyedo. And of course, I have Mazi Oge Friday with me here in the studio. We've been doing a whole lot of analysis on the issues we have on ground. Of course, we have opened our phone line for you to join us by calling in to make your contribution. You can call us via our WhatsApp line. Our WhatsApp line is +234 905660853. I call it once again. Our WhatsApp line is +234 905660853. Our full line is +234 702 035 3706. I call it once again, +234 702 035 3706. Also, you can call us on Skype at Sunrise BTV or Facebook Messenger at Sunrise BTV. We would like to hear your voice. We would like you to call in to make your own contribution as we are moving on. We have talked about a lot of things that is going on because you know that this very contraption called Nigeria, this British contraption, is built up on lies. And for you to keep Nigeria alive, for you to keep it going, for you to keep it, a lot of people come out every day to talk about one Nigeria. But they don't know that they are talking about one lie, because Nigeria is a lie, Nigeria is deception. That is why we have come at this very particular point in time to destroy the zoo with the truth, as constituted by our leader in the person of Hamadike, one of their friend land, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We are here to destroy the zoo with lies. To destroy the zoo with the truth. We are here to expose all their lies. That is why we analyze based on their reports, based on their newspaper publication, based on the lies they are publishing everywhere, every day. Yoruba Brown Media, Brown Envelope Media, what they do is to come out with statement made by El-Rufai. You understand? Ranking Nigeria as the same as Walton. I mean, yeah, ranking the northern part as Walton, Afghanistan. What would you make of that?
Of course, everybody knows that you know, North or the Arewa nation is you know, is a war zone. Do you understand? The Fulani herdsmen, they are there doing their own thing, struggling for space. And the Boko Haram, they are also there, you know, unleashing their own mayhem, struggling for space. And the Shiites, they are coming up, and their own will even be more deadly.
Alright, we'll come back to the issue of Shiite, but when you look at these very two particular terrorist group, you know, I think Boko Haram used to be #1, the most deadliest terrorist group in the world, and the Fulani herdsmen are recognized as #4. But when you look at their reputation so far, when they Fulani or the Fulanization agenda into different land, as they are struggling and fighting to terminate to do even up until this very time.
You see, these people, they are, you know, fighting for the same purpose. It's the same product in different containers. If you take it, you will still achieve the same result. But the problem here, while they do not want to, you know, secede, but naturally, that is the major thing that every hardcore of these ideologists want. But the Northerners, their elite, they are very, very much concerned in what comes into their pocket. People like the El-Rufai mentioned, and several or many of them are there. They are still very much pleased with what they gain from our sweat, with what they gain from our resources. So they do not quickly want the exit of Biafra, thereby the Northerners will stay on their own, or the Arewas will stay on their own, though it is their major target. Now, they do not want to, you know, go about secession now. They don't want to, you know, make it in a way that everybody will be on his own or on their own. But they want to do what? They want to use these two set of terrorist organizations to do what? To achieve their aim. And what is their aim? They want to make you perpetual slaves. They want to conquer you by all means. Thereby, they kill you, they subject you into suffering, they subject you into fear, and they will overthrow you and they will overtake you. You will remain ever loyal to them. Whatever thing that they say, that is what the rest will do. On that note, they will have 100% full access to all your resources, even those that has not been harnessed now, because it is not only petrol that our people have. We have so many other natural resources which God blessed us with. Chukwukabiyama blessed us with. So they have seen all of these things, and they see that if they clamor for total exit, and if they clamor for everybody to go on its different ways, they will not achieve this aim. But if they come with this method of, terrorizing you, thereby subjecting you into suffering, suppressing you, overtaking you. They will have access to you and your resources. And that is exactly what they want to achieve. So if it is all about one again alone, come alone, stay on your own, let me stay on my own. By now, nobody would even be talking about Biafra to go and Nigeria to go, all this and that, because they know they don't have all it takes to feed their country, unlike what El-Rufai said, just a vice versa statement. Right. So they cannot afford it. That was why they want to use what they have, which is what? Guns, to subject you, feeling that our people may not react to that stage when it comes.
All right, thank you very much, Mazi, for that wonderful contribution. Of course, viewers all over the world, our lines are open for you to make your calls and also bring in your contribution. Our WhatsApp line is +234 90566 08583. +234 90566 08583. Our phone line is +234 702 035 3706 +234 702 035 3706. You can also call us on Skype at Sunrise BTV or Facebook Messenger at Sunrise BTV. Please keep your calls coming. We want to hear your own side of the story. We want to get your own view. We want to get your own contribution to these very issues and the topic we are discussing here today. It is very, very important you make your own contribution, because we are here to analyze and to also expose the lies that is in every content of what the zoo is churning out for our people to believe. All right, Mazi, while the calls keep coming, you mentioned about the natural resources, and when you look at the North and how it was structured, and when you look at Kano State, they have gold. Zamfara, they have gold, of which the bandits are fighting over it, and they are personalizing it. I don't think Nasarawa State entirely has about over 27 natural mineral resources and other things they have in their land. So they are not entirely out of natural resources. So don't you think with what they have there in the north and considering what we have in Biafran land, is it not better everybody should stay on their own and manage what they have, because they are coming to Biafran land and taking the oil we have in Biafran land and the gold that has been there in Zamfara and other places of the north, which they have been mining secretly and personalizing, which is not even coming to the national treasury as is supposed to be and as was constituted by the British. Now, don't you think that is enough? Because when you talk about the natural resources we have, which they have more eyes on, they have those things apart from the oil, which they don't have, but they have gold, they have other things, they have zinc, they have magnesium, they have uranium and all of that. Don't you think with all here that this problem is causing, this problem is taking place? Many places in Africa, it is happening. Because Africa has not really discovered who they are and what they can do. And because of that, this problem has been going on. So the same with this contraption. If the North will understand that we can do something, the West will discover that we can do something, then the Biafrans will also discover that they can do something. These cabals who claim the ownership of Nigeria will come together and say, enough is a pregnant woman must put to bed, either by peace or anyhow. What any pregnant woman do for delivery must deliver. If not successfully, at least the surgery will be carried out for that baby to be, to see the surface of the earth. Biafra must be restored, and that we must do. By all means, we must get it done. If not the other way, the other way. It doesn't matter what you feel, it doesn't matter what you say, but what will be, must be. On this note, I will encourage you to do the needful. And what is it that you're supposed to do? Identify with IPOB, led by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is the only remedy to what our people are suffering today. And as we are doing that, Chukwuka Abiyama will continue to bless us. And in the end, Biafra will be restored.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Abada Mazi Ogefride, for that wonderful submission. Of course, Biafrans and all of us of freedom, this is where we draw the curtain for today. Of course, until we meet again, when next the network will allow us, because we are really battling the network. We are really having a serious network issue here in the zoo, and we have been pleading with you out there in any way you can. You have to be a part of this. You have to support us in any way you can, no matter how little or small it is, for us to make sure we restore our equipments and upgrade our system in order to serve you better. I still remain as Victor Onyedo until I come your way next time that the network will allow us. I said bye for now.